Well, it's in the news again. Pistol braces, and the ATF has finally sent their letter, which I was looking at. And this whole pistol brace circus act is up in the air again. Now, a couple things happened in the past few weeks. Number one, some of these guys on here. Now, another thing. Okay, I am not a YouTube internet lawyer. Okay, I have no legal experience whatsoever. But a lot of channels out there, and there's hundreds of them, that some guy's a retired lawyer. There is a guy in Washington State that really is a firearms lawyer and all this other stuff. And, they all go on and on and on. Two things happened. The Supreme Court was looking at the bump stock ruling. Something about there was a challenge to this, to overturn this. Whether or not that happened, I don't know, but several people were talking about that last week and said that this pistol brace thing probably isn't going to go through. But the assessment from people was on the 13th it was going to come out, and it did. So the ATF had this letter there, and of course hundreds of other websites are telling you all this stuff. And I'm going to try to help you cut through the horse shit and just tell you basically what's going on and what to do to protect yourself. And this is just my personal advice. Okay. So the ATF finally publishes this letter, and I've been looking at this thing. Okay. And this, let me see how many pages we got. I'll turn the camera around and then we'll kind of review it. The lighting might change a little, but we'll look at this document quickly. All right. I scrolled down, I'm on the ATF's website, and I scrolled down 291 pages. Okay, that's 291 is the page at the bottom. That goes up through this whole thing, definitions. I have no idea what the hell is going on. This is highly confusing and totally screwed up. But the only thing saving anyone with this is they have included some photographs here. As you see, they have photographs, stabilizing brace attached. And really, when looking at this, it's so vague and it shows people using, and they mention company names. And they do give you this stuff here and pictures like this with the stabilizing brace. And they do give you photographs, okay, and tell you what's legal, what's not legal, and all this other crap. So, all right, so as you've seen there, I'm sorry for that, but that's just the way it is. 291 pages. And I mean, it just goes into this legal mumbo-jumbo definitions and that. And basically what it's coming down to is they show you these pictures, and they must have compiled all these different companies that made these different things. And some of them are okay, some of them are not. They give you dimensions, all this other stuff. They show you one pistol brace that looks kind of like the one I have, has ridges on the back, but they say this one is good, but one that looks almost identical to it for some damn reason is not and can be shouldered and is designed and promoted to be used as a shoulders for a short-barreled rifle. So it's kind of a hem-ha, who knows, okay, how they're going to do this. It's highly confusing and it's subjective on their side. You can send them a picture of your firearm and they can tell you that's a short barrel rifle. They're giving you a period of time to register it as a short barrel rifle, or I don't know if they give you the option to reconfigure it or whatever, like originally. Like I said, 291 pages. I didn't go read through this crap. And what I did with mine is I took it apart. I don't even know where the brace thing is. and I put the 16-inch barrel upper on that receiver, and then I got a carbine. So I don't have one whatsoever. I ain't worried about it. I think it's fine if you're caught with one of these after the amnesty period and all this other stuff. Be aware that if they want to push it, the fine is 10 years in prison or $250,000 fine. Okay? Now, should you panic? Should you go crazy? What do you do? Well, simplest thing to do is take whatever you got on the back of the AR style weapon, if that's the case, and it's pretty easy to put something on there that just ends it. Just put a straight tube with that you can't attach nothing to, and just call it a day, and you're bulletproof, I guess. I don't know. I didn't read through the 291 pages. The downside of this is two things. One, they will allow you to register your gun, okay, under the National Firearms Act, NFA Act, which is a machine gun, a suppressor, short barrel rifle, sawed-off shotguns were under there, destructive devices, okay, all have to be registered. Now, like in my state, it's, if I wanted a suppressor, if I wanted an automatic weapon, I could go down and buy it, fill out the paperwork, wait however long it takes, 8 months, 9 months, whatever, and then get the weapon, and it's legal. All legal, no problem. But with getting this weapon registered, because I know some people that have on YouTube built short-barreled rifles on an AR platform and went and just applied, paid the $200 tax, and they legally own a gun configured as it is. A lot of people have done that, and there's nothing wrong with it. There are 13 states in the United States that you can't do that. New York, I know, is one of them. I don't know what the other other 12 are. And where else you're getting hit is, irregardless of what the ATF does, what the ATF says, a lot of states, Illinois is one, New York's another, they are passing some highly restrictive gun legislation, okay, where I think the point is moot with these pistol braces, because I think in them states you can't own that gun in any configuration, okay? I'm not quite sure, but you have to watch out for state and local laws, too. But let's go back to the federal one that covers all of us. So, they're not making the parts illegal. They're not saying possessing the parts are illegal. But the parts assembled on the gun, and if you have a completed firearm with these parts attached, that is illegal. Now the downside, like I said, a lot of people say, well, I'll just go down, I don't have to pay the $200, I'll get the damn thing registered, and I can sell it, transfer it, whatever. The thing that happens what a lot of people don't realize, and what I personally don't like, okay, is whenever you get a silencer or short barrel rifle or machine gun registered in your name, yes, it's legal, but there is a clause in there. You give the ATF a right to search your house once a year, unannounced with no warrant, anytime they want. Okay, that's part of the law. All right. Same with a lot of people get a carry-on relic license, which is cool because you say, hey, I'm a gun collector and I can get stuff transferred to me that's made before 1945 and just get it sent in the mail to me, and I send them a copy of my federal carry-on relic license. But there's a clause there that says you're not supposed to sell a gun for profit. So you can accumulate these weapons on your carry-on relic license. You have to keep a logbook of these weapons, just like an FFL dealer. Your collection has to be written down in a logbook, and they can come and ask to review your records. How that works, I don't know. I've heard stories where a guy, they wanted to review his collection, and he told them that he'd lay everything out, but they're going to do it in the garage. They're not coming into his house. And he set up stuff, tables in the garage. He had his books. They came, they checked everything. Everyone was happy, and they left. I don't know if they can come into your house without a warrant for a carry-on relic, but I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I remember when I looked into this many years ago, part of that law states if you have one of these registered weapons, they can show up and ask to search your home once a year, anytime they want. Now, I know people, my neighbor has suppressors and everything and all this other stuff. And he bought these things in our state legally, paid the taxes. He had to wait sometimes 9 months to get them, but he showed me the stuff he has. I don't believe they've ever searched his home. He has a few items. He did it legally and no hassles. Of course, he doesn't ride around in his vehicle with a suppressor attached to a .22 rifle and things like this. So there are reasons where you got to be careful. So say you got a gun, and then another weird thing is I was looking online here. They were selling these guns a week ago. You went online to several different wholesalers on the internet and buy these guns that are supposedly banned. So whatever they're saying or doing now, what was legal one week, this week is no longer legal. And if you got this in stock in your store, now you have a short barrel rifle, which is a controlled item. There's a lot of confusion into this. And the one thing is not to panic. They are not going to, I doubt they're going to go door to door asking people, do you have these guns or records of these guns or anything else? Because this is all pretty vague and circumstantial, all right? And going through these dozens of photographs that they have here, it's highly confusing on what they consider legal and what they consider not legal, okay? My advice is don't tell people you have something like this. Don't display it. If you feel compelled to go and register it, then go ahead. If it's legal in your area, register, but be warned, it comes with attachments. And I believe this whole thing is trying to classify a bunch of guns that are legal now and don't need any type of federal registration, because this is a federal registry. This ain't a state or local pistol permit or registry like in New York State. If you own a handgun, it is registered with New York State. New York State knew that this pistol was delivered to a store somewhere in New York State, and that gun is registered to you, and you must have a permit with that gun and serial number on it on your person at all times when you're wandering around with that pistol. Okay? Some places are like that. This state, that ain't the deal here. You buy a gun, it's like buying a hammer, okay? You pass the background check, do the federal requirements, get your, in this state, for a handgun, you have to have the sheriff run the background check, and he gives you a certificate. Okay? That's it. Alright? By law, you're supposed to have a bill of sale and have someone give you a background check so you can sell that to be 100% legal in a private sale. Alright? So the laws are not that strict where I live. They are stricter in other states. So what to do? Simplest thing to do is either remove the brace or reconfigure it with something that doesn't have a brace on it, like an AR pistol. Just put a round tube with a plug on the end of it. You're good to go, I guess. And then you ain't got to worry about it. Where you'll get tricked up is, like I said, if you register the gun, now you're on a federal registry. They know you have this. They have all your information in a computer and kind of are going to keep track of you. And I believe this is a backdoor scheme to start registering gun users. Okay? So beware. Two, you can do nothing, just don't show the gun. But what will happen is this ruling opens up the door. Say you run a stop sign, okay, and they're hassling you and they want to look in your car, and they go, and in the trunk came from the range, or you have a pistol with this brace attached there. Now, if they find it, it opens the door for them to press these federal charges on you for possession of this firearm. Okay, this is the bad side of this. The risk of having it and some sort of altercation, and usually I've heard of people that have done stupid things, blatantly disobeying a firearms law, but it was something else that brought law enforcement to their home, somewhat of a lesser charge or problem, an argument with the neighbor or something. And nowadays I've seen on YouTube where a guy was making videos on drag racing, and they had a SWAT team with rifles and a battering ram come to his house to issue a warrant and arrest him for promoting a danger to public safety or something. Okay, and I mean, they didn't have the LA Ram and rip the front wall of his house off, but they came in hard and heavy to issue a warrant for a guy about supposedly what he says, how true it is, I don't know, is making videos about or running drag races on the outskirts of town. I didn't know that people that run drag races would be fully armed and, going to have a shootout with the police where you had to have 8 guys with assault rifles and a battering ram show up at the door to issue a warrant for his arrest. Okay, but who knows? Who knows who's telling the truth in this story? But it sounds pretty strange. And of course, if they searched his house and found it now, the pistol with a brace on there, that's another charge. Kind of them things. And even if whatever they came to confront him about, even if it's a bullshit thing and gets thrown out of court, in the process of coming there for whatever reason, they find this device, now you're up on federal charge. So that's how it all kind of works out. It's up to you to sort through and go to these other people and figure out what to do. As far as I'm concerned personally, I disassembled and reconfigured that weapon to something else. So to me, the point is moot. I know a lot of you out there are nervous. Most people who will watch this video don't have the intent of breaking the law. Okay? So it's a very tough decision, and yes, all of this horseshit puts a lot of people in a bad situation. Okay? It's utterly ridiculous. If there's any truth, see, because I don't know, nobody's talking about the bump stock thing now. Was that thrown out or what? No one knows. I haven't heard and I haven't looked. I'm busy doing other things. But if they overturn that, then this 3-ring circus of BS is going to be thrown out. And plus, they were trying to lift the restrictions and get these things off of the list, like suppressors. They were supposed to drop this law with the suppressors, and you can go in and just go to the store and buy them, like a rifle scope or something, as an accessory to a firearm. Okay? There was several bits of legislation that didn't go through, and I don't know if that's ever going to change, or how politically, everything's so unstable politically, God only knows what's going to happen. But that's my take on this whole screwed up situation. So, basically, hang tight, cover your own ass, and, sort through this, wait, see, I think you got 3 months of a grace period here to make your mind up. Okay, but me personally, I would not register a thing. I would change it or do something or sell it or whatever. or just don't say a damn thing about it. Squirrel it away. I don't know. That's your choice. But there are consequences. Would you be, and again, you can never say. Okay? They're not going to hunt you down or actively start looking for people. But with this on the books, if this sticks, if you're caught with it, see, then you may face some consequences there. See, this is the problem. If you're caught. All right, so thanks, guys, and stay tuned.